Blog Talk Radio.
Another episode of Endie Fiya with your girl, Nakia. How you guys been? Look, I haven't been gone from you that long this week. It's only been a day, right? A day, 2 days this week. It was last week when we had the huge gap, and I think the week before that. Thank you so much again for all of you who have been praying for me, who have been sending up those, prayers. I really feel them. Your support is so amazing, not only of the show, but of myself as well. So thank you. Without you guys, there would be no me, in all honesty. So thank you again. Thank you. Did you tune into the show Tuesday? No? All right, so make sure you check it out. Endie Fiya is available on iTunes, on Spotify, on TuneIn, on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Just go Google Endie Fiya. It's been so amazing. I've had several people to reach out to my assistant this week, and they were just like, tell me more about your show. I can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, what? what did you type it in? You can't find us anywhere. You type in, that's all that's coming up. So, make sure that you just Google it, Endie Fiya. Spell it correctly, too. That might help also. Spell it correctly. Just Google Endie Fiya. And, of course, you can keep in the know if you head over to the website, endiefireradio.com. All right? That's not fire. That's Fiya. It's not I-N-D-I-E. It's E-N-D-I-E. All right? So we're out there for you guys to check us out. Make sure that you go and listen to the episode Tuesday where we had singer, songwriter, actress, co-producer, Jordan Pauline was here. Very fascinating and amazing young lady out of L.A. So make sure that you, again, go check out that episode. All right? Next week, Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right back here from My Struggle is My Strength, Monday Morning Motivation with motivational speaker Casso Moore, giving you that little that you need to be able to make it through the week. All right? 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. New Music Mondays right here. For submissions, you can email, who do you email for? Okay, I got I love sidecars. Yes, New Music Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can email Monica at info that's not hers though, info@endiefireradio.com. Just look, submit it to somebody. Or you can skip the middleman, go right to the website, click on the tab that says New Music Monday Submissions, and just upload your file there. All right? We'll get you in. And then the rest of the schedule for the rest of the week, Tuesday, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for more amazing independent artists. I think next week we have 2 authors, right, on both Tuesday and Thursday. So super excited to close out the month of July with them. Guys, make sure that you keep me and my family in your prayers. Yes, in your prayers. Taking my daughter back to college on tomorrow. And we talked about this briefly the other day, how things are just the way that they are in the world right now, that as parents, you kind of want to protect your children and by any means necessary. And this right here, is one way that I feel like I have to be so much more protective of her because I don't want her to go back to school. She's been home since spring break in March, and now they're just like, yeah, bring them on back. You know what I'm saying? So we move in tomorrow, and she goes back to school in 2 weeks. All right, so just keep all of those children, young adults who are returning to college this fall, keep them in your prayers. Those students as well as administrators and the faculty and staff of primary schools, make sure that you keep them in your thoughts and prayers as well. All right? No, you're not here to hear me talk because, you know, I could talk all night. But you're here to find out a little bit more about my guest this evening. I'm so curious about him. I'm talking about Latin director, visual artist, and filmmaker, and a whole lot more, Emmanuel Osorio. Again, he's a Latin filmmaker. He's 19 and a native of L.A. He's making his big screen debut with a semi-autobiographical feature film entitled BLASÉ L.A. The film follows the ups and downs of a group of young millennials growing up on the streets of selfie-obsessed L.A. I believe that's everywhere, especially in my house. In addition to acting in the film, Emmanuel wrote the screenplay and is making his directorial debut. Before making the leap into filmmaking, Emmanuel started as a visual artist and photographer, shooting everything from fashion to landscapes and everything in between. You can follow him on Instagram at Emmanuel, the director, and, of course, visit him at the website, which is www.emmanuelosorio.com. Endie Fiya listening audience, I present to you this evening my very special guest, Latin actor, director, filmmaker, visual artist, Emmanuel Osorio. Thank you for being able to join me this evening. You could have been anywhere, but I just again want to say thank you for giving so freely of yourself and your time to be here with me and my listening audience and share all about why it is that you do what you do and why you're so cool.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Nikia. You're so sweet. It's a very big pleasure to be on the show. So my name is Emmanuel, and I'm currently an actor and a filmmaker, and I'm currently making my directorial debut with BLASÉ L.A. For BLASÉ L.A., I wanted to make a film that was a reflection of myself and a reflection of myself as an artist specifically. Being that I'm a young 19-year-old, especially in the city of LA, there's a lot of chances and a lot of opportunities for one to grow as a person and as an artist. So given the fact that I was born and raised in the city, I was very inspired to go through with the idea of making a first feature film, especially at my age.
Yeah, so many 19-year-olds are so focused on, just finding themselves. And, I have a 19-year-old, that's who I was just talking about, who's a sophomore in college, and she would die to be in your position right now. She got a chance to visit California, which is where she wants to move to, back last June, and just fell in love with the city, so the cities that she visited just all over again. She's in school for her MBA in fashion merchandising and consumer studies. And so when I was talking to her earlier about, she's like, Mom, who do you have on the show? And I was telling her, and I was like, he's from L.A., and he's 19. And she was like, it's crazy just how kids my age or young adults my age are allowing their creative processes just to flow. And I'm thinking, yeah, because when I was 19, it was just, okay, I'm about to go back to college, and you know what I'm saying? I was focused on school, but the creative side of me is just now coming out 20 years later. So it's just amazing that at 19 that you've already done so many things, but now to be able to debut your own semi-autobiographical feature, not only acting in it, but directing in it as well. That's just amazing. In your experience, what is the most important quality that a director should have?
Yes, Nikia, thank you so much for that. I'd say a very big important quality of being a director would be somebody who has knowledge in every aspect for filmmaking. When you're a director, you're required to be very responsible for making sure that the work gets done, because at the end of the day, it is your work of art, and
right.
You pretty much have to make sure that you see through your vision 100%. There have been days where it can be a little hectic, especially for somebody like myself that's taking on many hats. So it can get a little difficult, but I think that most importantly overall, having a strong team and people that are willing to go the extra mile for you is very important. For somebody to be on my team, especially now with COVID-19, we're actually in the middle of production when COVID-19 was announced. So given with that, we did come across a lot of issues and obstacles, but I think ultimately now during this pandemic, I feel like artists should focus their energy specifically on their art and their craft. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes we get our creativity years later when we're not even thinking about it, and we just get sparked with a lot of imagination. So I think especially right now with COVID-19, I would suggest just focus directly on your work of art. Solely all you really need is a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can pretty much make a whole movement. You can start a whole movement. I think that specifically because of the rise of cell phones, everybody has a smartphone nowadays in their left or right pocket, and that's also a big opportunity. So, like, for example, since I'm 19, I have a smartphone in my hand, and I can easily go shoot a little 5-minute short film. So I think that the access with cell phones has actually been a very big push as far as creativity goes.
And you said something that we've been discussing around here for, I don't know, the last 4 months, about how important it is during this downtime. So many people are out of work, so many people are out of school, you've been maybe displaced, instead of just wallowing in what's going on and being down and being depressed, you know what I'm saying? This is the perfect opportunity for so many people to tap into their creative side, and use this time that you're down to see the growth within yourself. And so we've just been talking about that so much on the show. So it's interesting that you said that, and it's perfect for the young adults right now because I feel like you said, everybody does have a phone in their back pocket or their right hand. I mean, my kids they're glued to their phones. And so anything that you can imagine doing, you can do so with your phone. And I have a son who makes beats. He's 14 and he makes beats, and he uses all of his equipment at home. But I find him a lot on the phone, just mixing and mastering from his phone. So during this time, it's been the perfect opportunity for so many people to just use it as a period to grow. So I commend you on that right there. I really do. I commend you on that. For you, what's been the most challenging part of your role as a director or a filmmaker?
I think definitely it would be my age. Now, I'm not complaining when it comes to my age. I actually think it's a very big advantage to myself that I have. But as far as my age go, I think that a lot of people in the industry think that because somebody is 19, you can't be taken seriously. But I want to show that I can be an example. I can be an example as the light at the end of the tunnel. You always just have to focus. At the end of the tunnel, there's always going to be a light, and you just got to go for your goal. Like I said, with this quarantine that's going on and with COVID and all of this that's going on within the entire world, I would honestly just say either I know this is going to sound funny, either lock yourself in a room. I know we can't go outside, so just if you can be outside on your porch, on your laptop, or with a piece of paper, just focus and go ahead and build your goals. Just write them out, plan them out. This is all over. It's go time again, and the industry is going to keep on going, and time waits for nobody. Right now that everybody has pretty much access to internet, you can feel free to make a YouTube channel, start a blog, take some pictures, just get in touch with your creativity. Like you said, your son is actually making beats. There's other people that are doing photo shoots in their house, either with their smartphone or with their actual DSLR. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for people to just engage with their creativity. But ultimately, I think that, like I said, my age is a very big factor in this, given that I am 19, and it is an industry with folks that have been in it since the day they were born. So
Right, longevity,
ultimately, yeah, correct. So I'd say it would be my age, but then again, I'm not complaining.
All right, so that's been the most challenging, but what has been the most rewarding part of all of this for you?
Honestly, every day I wake up, I can't believe I'm living the dream. I get to wake up and just get in touch with my creativity. The first thing that I do when I wake up is I try to have a cup of tea and just jot down some ideas from my dreams that I've had. And after that, I get specifically down to writing. Once that gets on through, I start to focus on specifically on filming and shooting, and then working with specific actors. Something that has been the most rewarding for me, honestly, is just to be living the dream every day. I get to wake up and work with these actors and get to do what I love for a living, and especially knowing that I found my niche at a very early age on, I'm just very blessed, and I'm very grateful for everything that has come to my way.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And I you know what, I so much would have to agree with you when you say you get up and you have that cup of tea. You get that. For me, it's the tea. It's to just sit back and reflect just a little bit, on what has transpired the previous day, what I want to go into making this day better than yesterday, and that includes jotting the ideas down to be able to move forward and, progress through the day without things called distractions. And I know that I've asked this question a couple of times with my guests, and they don't answer it the way that I want them to answer it. I know that we all have distractions in our lives and things that kind of will set us back on a day-to-day basis, but I believe that when you're passionate about something and when your life is full of purpose, then those distractions kind of sit the back burner. How is it like for you, or what is it like for you? How do you deal with distractions when they come your way? Are they blessings? Do you overcome them? Do they get you down? Do they motivate you? What's it like for you when it comes to distractions?
Yes, that's a very good question, actually. For distractions, it can be a little tedious sometimes. Mainly, I think, like I said, given that everybody has access to a smartphone, I feel like it's just very easy. It's all at your fingertips. You can just send a quick message to somebody and say, hey, you guys want to meet up? So that can get pretty distracting at times. But, yeah, I honestly just try to either turn my phone on silent and just stick with whatever I'm focused at that time. Cell phones can be a very big distraction, especially when on set. That's why it's really important to just either turn it off or put it in a box and have it locked up. But for these distractions, honestly, you just have to, like you said, you have to reflect and take some time out of your day to analyze what happened today and how can we make that better and how can we proceed with the following day to making things more better than we expected them. So I feel like as far as distractions go, I think taking some time out of your day just to do maybe a 5-minute Zen meditation or a little bit of yoga can always help.
Yeah, I probably this time last year, I had a young lady on the show she's in between Cali and Vegas, but she does so much. But what she was on the show for was to introduce her line of essential oils and just that scope of health and healing that she was introducing into Macy's like the following day. And so she talked about the importance of just being able to take each day as it is. But before you start the day, get that cup of tea, like you mentioned, meditate for a little bit, and then jot down the ideas, that you mentioned that you're going to or want to be able to see outcomes in what you produce for that day, and then move on, with the day. And so I never could stay focused when it came to starting my day because I was distracted. I was everywhere. And so it wasn't until I did, take her advice and get that cup of tea and sit down and meditate and write down your ideas. Because, see, I always wrote my ideas down the night before. Well, then I had to fall asleep. And it seems like everything that I create, it happens while I'm asleep. So I get up and jot the ideas down and fall back asleep and wake up again with another idea. So by the time I would fully wake up, then everything that I wrote down the previous day, no, I got a longer list now. So it is very important to be able to take that time in the morning before you start your day and then proceed from there. You're giving great advice, great advice for a young mind, great advice.
Thank you so much.
I want to talk about the film. I know you mentioned in the beginning, the basis around the film, but how COVID affected shooting and everything. But how has it been moving forward since you first started, and then once the film is released, what are your expectations for it?
Yeah, so as far as BLASÉ L.A. goes, I did want to just mention for BLASÉ L.A., I know that people had a couple of speculations as far as what exactly is BLASÉ L.A. about, and I just want to put it out there for the record. It's not solely based upon one thing. BLASÉ L.A. is a capsule of the time that we're living in now. More importantly, the time that these characters are set in. They're set in the now as far as Los Angeles go for the time period. But with the film, we did have actually some big plans of premiering at Cannes Film Festival. Unfortunately, obviously due to COVID, there has been a setback. So yeah, I am a little heartbroken on that. But you know what? Like you said, everything happens for a reason. So we're just really focused on ultimately pushing the premiere for BLASÉ L.A. at the Cannes Film Festival for 2021. And we're really pushing forward for a theatrical release in the summer of 2021 for BLASÉ L.A.
Okay. And so are you working on any other projects right now, or are we just trying to get this one finalized and ready for its debut?
Yeah, Definitely. So right now we're really taking advantage of this downtime that we have with the industry. Everything seems to be moving at a slow rate. There have been a lot of films that have been pushed back, set on hold. So it is sad to see that, but, like I said, everything does happen for a reason. And right now we're actually currently writing on projects. We're solely focused on writing and doing some edits in the meantime for BLASÉ L.A. As far as editing and music goes, that's actually something that we're very keen on at the moment. For a film, I really love filmmaking because it lets you as an artist express your different diversity when it comes to the range of art. For example, in film, there's a lot of elements that come into it when you're making a movie. With music specifically, just by listening to the sound of the sonic waves, they can transport your brain into a different mood and different environment and change your self-esteem. So that's actually a very big spot that we're looking at for the film. The musical soundtrack and score for this film is actually something that we're catering not just for teenagers, but for the whole world. People that are older and younger, teenagers, they can all enjoy this music. And we are currently working on new projects, other feature films as well. But obviously, I do apologize, I'm not able to disclose that information. But yeah, we have
I understand.
focusing solely on music,
You keep saying we, and I know that everyone always has to have some type of team behind them.
Yeah.
So these individuals that you're speaking about, are they music artists as well?
Yeah.
Or, are you the artist and you're doing the production? Or
So when I say we, I just want to clarify, it's just me, my producer and editor, just solely working for little things as far as BLASÉ L.A., and I also do include my investors as well. But yeah, when it does come to BLASÉ L.A., it is a very small team, and it's solely focused and mission driven by myself. So it's my baby ultimately. BLASÉ L.A. We started off with pre-production in 2019, moving on to 2020, And then once COVID hit, we were in mid-production. We were actually currently shooting for BLASÉ L.A., but unfortunately, because of all of this that's going on, we just focused solely on editing for that first portion of the film.
And now, how long is the film going to be?
The film is currently at a 2 hours, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I know that as a filmmaker and a producer or director, you've learned a lot. What pieces of advice can you offer to someone who, they've listened to the show, they've read your bio, you kind of sparked their curiosity, but they feel like maybe, there's a fear factor. Age may have something to do with it. Lack of knowledge or lack of skills may have something to do with it. But what piece of advice could you offer to that individual who is interested, maybe in becoming a filmmaker?
My piece of advice that I would give to anybody, regardless of their age, I would say never give up. Learn every day as much as you can about that interest that you have. Never take no for an answer. Always make sure that you do your research before you're going into this, because you want to be knowledgeable about what you're going to be working on. So I would just suggest, honestly, just do it. Go for it. Don't give up. And I would say never take no for an answer, because if I would have taken those no's, I wouldn't be where I am today. So my advice to everybody listening, never give up. Keep your head up high.
Awesome advice. Awesome. And guys, remember, when we have the guests on the show and they are providing these gems, things that they may have gone through and persevered through, things that didn't work for them, but now going in this direction, it worked a little better. So they're, giving you these great pieces of advice. Not only do I want you to make them applicable to, that career as a music artist, or that career as an author, or that, aspiring filmmaker, but make them applicable to every part of your life, because that right there was so important that he said, do not take no for an answer. There's so many people that hear no after no after no after no that, it becomes overwhelming, and you just feel like, what, forget it. I can't do this. This is not for me, but it's maybe that sixth no that you needed. They provided some constructive criticism, and, when you went to the next opportunity, it turned into a yes, So if you do not keep pursuing and chasing your dream, then where's the purpose in everything that you're attempting to do, So again, do not just make that applicable to these creative careers that you have, but your life in general. All right? Free knowledge, scoop it up, live by it. Okay? I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening. The floor is now yours to get all the contact information out. Any shout-outs that you may have, I don't know, maybe you have an event that's coming up this weekend. Whatever it is, the floor is now yours to get all of that information out to the listening audience. Did we lose him? Maybe? I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to tell you. You, again, can follow him on Instagram at Emmanuel, the director. Now, Emmanuel does have two M's, all right? So Emmanuel, the director. All right, or head over to the website, www.emmanuelosorio, that's OSORIO.com, to find out more about this amazing. Oh, there he is.
Yes,
all right,
Nikki,
so
yeah.
go ahead. The floor is yours. I just want to
leave the listeners with the final piece of advice. I just want to say that in this industry, it's very important. It's not about what you know. It's actually about who you know. Always make sure you try to keep on networking as much as possible. Little small talk here and there with a stranger. You never know who those people are and what doors that they can open for you. So just always keep on pitching your ideas and just the creativeness that you have. So just remember, always try to network and small talk with as much people as you can.
Yeah, that is crucial right there. And like you said, it's not it is who you know. We would like to believe that it's not, that we can, do all of this on our own, but you do. You need those connections, and you need to build and keep building those networks. You'll be surprised at the outcome when you continue to do this. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor back up to you again to get your contact information out, get your shout-outs in. For any reason that anyone may need to get in contact with you, listening live now or coming back and listening to one of the many, many playback shows, the floor is now yours to get that contact information out.
Thank you so much, Nakia. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a pleasure.
You are so very welcome. And like I tell all of my guests, once you're here, you become family. You're welcome back at any time.
Definitely. You can feel free to follow me on Instagram at Emmanuel the Director. That's spelled Emmanuel with 2 M's. And you can feel free to check out my Twitter at Latin Filmmaker. And the BLASÉ L.A. website is BLASÉLA.com. That's BLASELA.com.
Hey, all right, guys. There you have it. Do you have any shout-outs? Showing anybody any love?
No, not at the moment. Only shout out to you, Nakia, for having me on this interview.
Well, you are so very welcome. And I don't want to put anybody's name out there or anything, but I believe you came to us through someone by the name of Chris.
Yes.
Yes. So I just want to say
thank
you.
Yes, Chris.
To Chris.
Yes, honestly, shout out to
connection.
Christopher Morrissey. Yes, Christopher Morrissey is actually, big shout out to Chris Morrissey. He's actually one of the producers on BLASÉ L.A.
Well, thank you again for this connection. Guys, make sure that you are right back here again Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Monday Morning Motivation with Casso. More on My Struggle Is My Strength. And then back again at 8 p.m. for our new Music Monday edition. All right, guys, have a safe weekend. Again, remember to keep me and my family, or my family and I, in your thoughts and prayers as we travel to take my daughter back to college on tomorrow. We will see you guys on Monday. Have a good night.
Have a good night.